Welcome to Daily Gossip. You will get daily Hollywood updates here, so remember to subscribe for the latest videos. In a world where celebrity allure often feels manufactured and fleeting, there comes a moment when one woman can single-handedly reignite the very definition of timeless beauty, confidence, and sensual magnetism, and that woman is none other than Bo Derek, the icon who became an instant global sensation decades ago and still, to this day, can cause the internet to collectively hold its breath. Recently, Bo stepped into the spotlight with an appearance so daring, so unapologetically radiant, that it left fans and onlookers gasping in disbelief, their jaws dropping in an almost synchronized reaction that transcended generations. This wasn't just a red carpet moment. It was a declaration, a powerful reminder that age, in the realm of true glamour, is nothing but a number and that allure is not bound by time but by spirit. The cameras flashed endlessly, the media scrambled for the perfect headline, and social media platforms were set ablaze with hashtags and reposts as this vision of elegance and daring style swept across the digital landscape. Bo Derek, known for her legendary beach scene in the 1979 film 10, where her golden cornrow braids and sun-kissed glow became an eternal image of cinematic beauty, has once again proven that she is more than a nostalgic memory, she is a living, breathing embodiment of the kind of Hollywood glamour that refuses to fade. Her outfit, if one could even call it that, was a masterclass in subtle provocation. It was a look that straddled the line between high fashion and forbidden fantasy, every curve accentuated, every detail perfectly chosen to spark curiosity while leaving nothing to the imagination. The shimmering fabric caught the light in such a way that it seemed to wrap her in liquid gold, flowing effortlessly with her every movement, whispering elegance while screaming confidence. The neckline plunged dangerously low, defying conventions, while the cut embraced her figure in a way that seemed sculpted by an artist's hand. It was the kind of look that could silence a room and ignite 1,000 conversations all at once, the kind of moment that made even seasoned Hollywood insiders pause and acknowledge that they were in the presence of an ageless force of nature. Every camera lens seemed to adore her, every flash immortalizing a woman who has always understood that beauty is not just skin deep, it is the aura you project, the confidence you exude, and the power you command simply by being unapologetically yourself. People who grew up with her as their ultimate crush found themselves reliving those memories, swept away by the same intoxicating charm, while younger generations, many of whom were encountering her for the first time, found themselves captivated by a woman whose charisma could rival the biggest stars of today. But Bo Derek is not just a figure from the past, dusted off for nostalgic appreciation. She has lived, loved, and evolved, and in doing so, she has cultivated a presence that is richer, deeper, and far more compelling than the glossy posters that once adorned countless bedroom walls. This was not just about fashion or style. It was about a statement, an assertion that a woman's allure does not expire, that femininity and confidence can flourish at any stage of life. As the evening unfolded, whispers turned into audible admiration, and admiration morphed into viral fascination. Celebrities in attendance, many of them decades younger, found themselves gravitating toward her, seeking a moment in her orbit, as if some of that unshakable energy might rub off on them. Every step Bo took felt choreographed by destiny, poised, graceful, commanding without arrogance. Photographers were practically climbing over one another to secure the perfect shot, and the resulting images quickly made their way to magazine covers, entertainment blogs, and trending social media feeds. Fans flooded comment sections with declarations of love, awe, and respect, many echoing the sentiment that Bo Derek had not just turned heads, she had stopped time. The air was thick with that rare kind of electricity that only comes when a public figure surpasses the hype and delivers something that feels like an authentic cultural moment. This was more than a fashion statement. It was a seismic reminder that in a world obsessed with youth and fleeting fame, there are still those who can command a room, a camera, and an audience with nothing more than their presence. And Bo Derek? She did it with style, with grace, and with an unshakable confidence that made it impossible to look away. Her choice to step out in such a daring ensemble wasn't just a stylistic gamble, it was a challenge to outdated perceptions, a defiant nod to every woman who has been told that her best days are behind her. And if the collective reaction of the night was any indication, Bo Derek's best days are still unfolding right before our eyes. Every shimmering inch of that gown told a story of resilience, of evolution, of a woman who has navigated the highs and lows of fame and emerged not just intact but more luminous than ever before. From the gentle curve of her smile to the confident sway of her walk, she embodied a truth that the entertainment industry often forgets: real beauty is not about perfection. It's about authenticity, and authenticity is magnetic. As the evening wore on and the lights dimmed, one thing was certain: Bo Derek had once again etched her name into the cultural conversation, not as a relic of Hollywood's golden past, but as a blazing star in its present. The moment was hers, and the world couldn't stop talking about it. As the night carried on, the ripple effect of Bo Derek's stunning appearance only grew stronger, moving far beyond the confines of the red carpet and spilling into living rooms, late-night talk shows, and trending segments across global entertainment networks. This was no ordinary celebrity sighting. It had all the hallmarks of a defining pop culture event, the kind that gets replayed in flashback montages years later, accompanied by dramatic voiceovers and nostalgic music. The images of Bo that night seemed almost unreal, as if the camera itself had been captivated, unable to portray her with anything less than perfection. Every photo told 1,000 different stories, the soft glint in her eyes revealing a woman who has lived a life full of triumphs and heartbreaks, the delicate lift of her chin signaling unshakable pride, and the gentle, knowing smile that seemed to speak directly to anyone who has ever doubted themselves, whispering, "You can still own every moment." The event's energy seemed to bend around her presence, much like a gravitational pull. Even the brightest young stars seemed to fade slightly in her wake, not diminished by her radiance but momentarily eclipsed by the sheer force of it. And that was the magic of Bo Derek. She didn't just arrive at an event, she transformed it, turning what might have been just another night in Hollywood into something extraordinary. Viewers around the world, from Los Angeles to London to Sydney, found themselves glued to their screens, captivated by a woman who seemed to defy the laws of both time and expectation. Entertainment journalists scrambled to find words that could capture what they were seeing. Stunning felt too simple, gorgeous too casual, and ageless too overused to describe the layered complexity of Bo Derek in that moment. She was glamorous yet grounded, daring yet dignified, sensual yet sophisticated, a walking contradiction in the most alluring way. Social media became a virtual runway for fans to share their favorite angles of the look, dissecting every element of her ensemble, from the daring neckline to the perfectly balanced accessories that seemed to anchor the boldness of the gown with subtle elegance. Designers and stylists quickly weighed in, calling it a masterclass in red carpet presentation, a reminder that risk, when executed with intention and confidence, can yield unforgettable results. Even seasoned Hollywood veterans, people who have seen more than their share of glittering gowns and dazzling entrances, admitted privately, and sometimes publicly, that they hadn't seen a moment quite like this in years. The most remarkable thing, however, wasn't just the way Bo looked, it was the way she carried herself. Every step, every pose, every glance seemed deliberate, as though she understood the weight of the moment and embraced it fully without arrogance. There was an intimacy to her confidence, a sense that she wasn't performing for the cameras but rather existing fully in her own skin, allowing the world to simply witness. In a city where authenticity is often sacrificed for the sake of image, Bo Derek managed to merge the two seamlessly, becoming both the fantasy and the reality. She reminded the audience, and perhaps herself, that beauty is amplified when it's backed by experience, that sensuality is more potent when it's grounded in self-awareness, and that true glamour is timeless because it's rooted in something deeper than trends. As the night wound down and guests began to filter out into the cool Los Angeles air, there was a palpable sense that they had been part of something more significant than a star-studded event. It was as though Bo had planted a seed in the collective consciousness, a reminder that allure, influence, and presence are not dictated by age, but by authenticity and the courage to own the space you're in. In the days that followed, think pieces emerged in fashion magazines, interviews with stylists who praised the boldness of her choices, and endless social media discussions debating whether this would go down as her most iconic look yet. Through it all, Bo remained characteristically composed, offering gracious thanks in interviews, deflecting excessive praise with a humility that only made people love her more. The most captivating part of the whole narrative was that Bo didn't seem to be chasing relevance, she already had it. She didn't need to reclaim the spotlight, she had simply chosen, on that night, to step into it and remind everyone why. It was hers in the first place. This wasn't desperation to hold on to fame, it was mastery of it. And perhaps that's why her presence that night felt so powerful, because it wasn't about proving anything to anyone else. It was about living fully, unapologetically, and without fear of being seen. The moment Bo Derek walked out in that now legendary gown, she did more than just make a fashion statement, she sparked a conversation about confidence, about beauty without expiration dates, and about the art of commanding a room without uttering a single word. By the time the headlines began to fade, the images remained etched into memory, a testament to a woman who has not only survived the changing tides of Hollywood but has done so with grace, grit, and a smile that could still stop hearts. 4. Those who were lucky enough to see it in person, it will always be the night Bo Derek left nothing to the imagination and, in doing so, gave everyone something unforgettable to remember. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button because moments like these are why Daily Gossip exists, to bring you the stories, the images, and the unforgettable glimpses into the lives of stars who remind us that true glamour never fades.